Hi guys, we're out in the backyard on a chilly fall morning. We're going to be giving some much needed attention to our Greenstalk vertical garden. I'm going to be cleaning it all out, and then we're going to be propagating strawberries with all the strawberry runners and turning this Greenstalk vertical garden into a complete strawberry tower. We've got our makeshift laboratory ready to go, and here is our Greenstalk vertical garden. And you can see it's all nice and full, but if we get in here, you can see some of the plants like the peppers and the basil. They're just tired and ready to come out. The cold weather has really taken a toll on some of these. We've got some dried up, spent leaves. This, I think, is a squash or a cucumber plant that is ready to come out. It's not really going to do anything. But all in all, this whole system has been just absolutely amazing to plant in. I've harvested peppers, cucumbers. I think we even have a jalapeno somewhere over here. Oh, right here. Look, and it's even got jalapenos on it. And we've got a bunch of strawberries with a whole bunch of runners that we're gonna propagate. And we're gonna fill all of these empty pockets that we clean out. We're gonna fill them with some of these strawberry runners and just kind of make this whole thing one giant strawberry tower. So this is my first season gardening with a Greenstalk, and I absolutely love it. It's got 30 of these deep root pockets that you can plant anything. I think I've even got a couple of sweet potato slips in here that I planted, and I have no idea if we've got potatoes in here or not. Based on the harvest that we did earlier, I'm gonna go with no. But this entire system is so versatile and so easy to use, and I'm almost contemplating getting another one of these because I've really enjoyed it. And for somebody who doesn't have space, like I don't have a huge amount of space, but I do have some space on the patio. But for somebody who is limited to like a balcony or anything, this is an absolutely ideal solution or something, but it's just perfect for small spaces because look how much you can get planted in here. You can plant 30 individual plants in a, not even probably like a 2-foot width and like almost a 5-foot height. So it is just so incredibly easy to grow and versatile. So I have the 5-tier Greenstalk system with the 10-inch deep pockets. Each tier has 6 pockets. We have 5 tiers, so that gives us 30 pockets to plant in. They do offer another one that is a 7-tiered system, and the pockets are, I think, a little smaller, about 7 inches deep. But it really just depends on what you want to grow, how much you want to grow, and what you're willing to invest in these. So these come in a wide variety of colors. There's many different accessories that you can get for them. I got the cover for the top of it because I do keep this outside, and you can see we've got a whole bunch of leaves. So I just didn't want anything to get in here and just kind of plug up any of the holes. I also have the Lazy Susan swivel base, so you can turn this around a 360, and it's also on wheels, so you can move it and wheel it anywhere you want. It comes with, they have like automatic watering systems that you can hook up. I even saw that they have a frost guard, which I'm contemplating on getting because I'm gonna leave these strawberries in here on the patio over the winter. So I'm contemplating purchasing one of their little frost guards and just covering it so they don't succumb to like the freezing cold weather, but they do have their little dormancy period. But they come in a wide variety of colors. They even have different patterns on them. So I'll put the website in the description and you can check it out. So what I'm going to do first is clean it all up. I'm going to go tier by tier and clear out every pocket that doesn't have a strawberry plant, top it off with some fresh soil. I'm not going to use any fertilizer this time because we're going into the winter months, so there's really no need to. And then once we have all 5 tiers cleared out, we can begin propagating our strawberries. Before I do anything, I'm going to take these runners and just wind them around and fasten them with a piece of plant tape so they don't get in the way and I don't snag them. I've got a little piece of tape right here. and I'm just going to wrap it around. Kind of like a nice little bundle. And I'm going to do that to each of them before I take each tier off. So for this one, I'm just going to wrap it. Take a piece of tape. Tie it up. This whole tier is strawberry, so I don't have to do anything to this one. So I'm just going to set this one aside. This is the watering tray for each tier, and it has 6 holes in it, 1 for each pocket. So I'm gonna line each hole up with the center of the pocket. That way I can make sure that the water is getting as close to the root ball as possible. And I'm just going to tamp this down firmly so it stays in place. And then we'll just put the next layer on. Same thing with the next watering tier, and so on and so on. So here's what we harvested when we cleaned out the Greenstalk. We got 3 nice size bunches of celery and 1 huge bunch of Greek oregano, which I will take inside and dry it. And then I wanted to show you guys real quick, this is the plant ties that I've been using. They're just like Velcro strips. You can see they stick to everything. Come on, let go. But it comes in a wheel like this, and you can just cut it to size, whatever size you need. And you can also reuse them. This is everything that I had used, and I'm just going to clean it all off, put it in a Ziploc, and reuse it next year. But this is it. Pretty simple. And I picked it up at Home Depot. Here's our Greenstalk all cleaned out. You can see I've got a few empty pockets in each tier. I went through and separated as best I could our strawberry runners, but you can see some of these plants sent out like 5 or 6 sets of runners. Like, that's just insane to me because it just takes away so much energy from the mother plant. But this is how they reproduce. So some of these got attacked by the deer, so they're starting to regrow their leaves all over again. So let me find a stronger one. Here we go. So let's take a look at this runner. Each of these is a new plant waiting to root in. And on just this one runner, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, five new plants off of one runner, and you can see that there's five or six runners on this plant. So this just takes up so much energy from the mother plant, but this is how they reproduce. So for example, here's our runner. Here's our little plant. Wherever this makes contact with soil, you'll see that roots will start to form. Pretty much once these make contact with soil, they'll start rooting in, and then you'll end up with a brand new strawberry plant. I did an entire video on planting strawberries in containers. I'll put a link in the description box if you want to check it out. I went into a lot of detail on the different varieties and basically a step-by-step guide on how to plant strawberries in containers. But there's two varieties of strawberries. You've got your June-bearing and your ever-bearing. And just like the name says, June-bearing varieties produce most of their crop in June, whereas ever-bearing varieties produce a smaller crop, but consistently throughout the entire season, they're continuously producing fruit. So if you're looking for a lot of fruit all at one time, if you're looking to make jams and jellies, then I would recommend June-bearing varieties. If you're looking for more consistent or longer fruit production, I would recommend the ever-bearing. Personally, I say initially try both varieties out because there's so many different types of strawberries in each variety, and it's all really just personal preference and taste, because what I may like as far as taste goes, some may not. So just get out there and try as many as you want and see which one you prefer. As far as propagating the runners, it's very simple to do. Let me show you how I do it. So what we want to do to propagate is we'll take one of our runners and we'll start with the first little baby plant, and you can see right at the bottom we've already got some air roots starting to form. We want to push this into some fresh soil just to cover up the roots, but we don't want to put it in too deep to where we cover up the crown of the plant, because if you bury it too deep, it's very easy to rot it out, or it won't even produce fruit if it survives. So we're going to take this and just gently insert it into the soil, just like that. And then I'm going to use a landscape staple to just fasten it into position, and just so it kind of holds it there right against the soil. So it keeps contact with the soil. And here you can see we've got the bottom of the plant resting in soil and the landscape staple holding it into place. So here's a good example of a runner that has split off and formed two separate runners. You can see the larger one is the more dominant, whereas the thinner one is more inferior. The dominant one is producing babies much larger than the smaller one, so I would recommend using this one and just discarding that. And also, if you run into a situation where the first plant is too short to propagate, it just won't reach into the pocket, just move on to the second plant and put that one in soil, and you can propagate that one. So for this, I would just move on to the second baby, find the bottom, and just insert it into the soil slightly. Take your landscape staple and just press it down, just to hold it there so it makes contact with the soil. And we're going to continue repeating the process until every pocket is full. Okay, all of our empty pockets are now full with the babies from the runners. So now I'm going to come in and groom all of the plants and get rid of all of these additional runners, because they're not doing anything except drawing energy from the mother plant. So we're just going to come in here real quick and just snip them off. Well, this just looks so much better now. We got them all cleaned up. All the extra runners have been cut off. All the pockets are filled with baby plants, except for the one with the Greek oregano, because I'm going to try and winter that over. But we have 29 pockets full of strawberry plants now. And I did come in and remove those 3 runners that had rooted in, because I don't want to overcrowd these plants and stress them out, because then they're just not going to produce. So now, before I put our water reservoir on the top layer, I'm going to water this in and water each individual pocket. And here it all is, all nice and cleaned out. All the strawberry plants have been groomed. All the babies have been put in soil to root in. Everything has been watered in. It's in its final spot for the season. It's getting some sun right now. And I think I will keep an eye on the weather over the winter, because this is where it's going to stay all season, all winter until next season. So if we do get super, super cold weather, I may come out and cover it with some frost cloth for some protection, or I may go online and purchase the little frost guard cover that goes along with this system, just to make sure that all the plants and all the babies are protected from any harsh weather, so it gives them a better chance of rooting in and surviving. And I will continue to water. This is the water reservoir tank where you can fill it up and it will just weep water through all of those trays. But I will also come in and individually water the pockets where the babies were, just to make sure that they're getting sufficient water, because the watering holes are right back there. But I just want to make sure, because these don't have any roots, I want to make sure that the soil stays moist and doesn't dry out until they have a chance to root in. So I will be watering from the reservoir and individually all the pockets, just to make sure that everything stays nice and hydrated and moist throughout the season, and the babies have a chance to root in. And these are all the leftover runners that we removed. If you wanted to, you could take these individually and put them in soil and try to get them to root that way. It is possible, but it is a little riskier when they're not attached to the mother plant. I have done it with some success, but I don't have any more room for any more strawberry plants right now. But I do have a couple friends coming, so I think they're going to take some of these as well. And in case I didn't mention it, these are all seascape varieties. These are all everbearing. I do have a few June-bearing varieties in containers as well. So I have a little mix of both of them. Anyways, I am just so happy to get this project done. Seeing all those runners just dangling everywhere was driving me crazy. And I knew that I needed to come out and do it, because we're in November now. So this should have been done a lot sooner. But either way, I'm just happy to have it done, and I'm looking forward to seeing what they look like and how they winter over and hopefully produce in the spring. So something to look forward to. Anyways, guys, that's it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. We'll see you in the next one. Bye.